Hey sweet friends, it's Allie with Allie's Boutique, and today I'm working on some vintage thread spools. Some sweet friend that I don't know who it was gifted me these vintage thread spools. So they sat around for a little while. I didn't know what to do with them, and I decided maybe I should just paint the bottom in different shades of green and use them as candlesticks. I remember in the 80s my stepmom would use these just as they are as candlesticks, and so I thought, let's bring them into this decade and give them a little paint redo. So I'm going to use Rethunk junk paint today, but right now what I'm doing is just taping off at different heights on the candlestick using the little grooves that are already in the candlestick as a guide, and taping them off with painter's tape. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Prep by Rethunk Junk. This is the first step before you use Rethunk Junk paint. You always want to clean your project with the Prep. I probably should have done it before I taped them off, but it was an afterthought, so now I'm going back and I'm cleaning them. You want to let it dry before you apply your paint. And now I decided to use about 4 shades of Rethunk Junk paint, all in shades of greens. The first one I'm using is called Sea Spray, and I'll list all of these colors in the description of the video. And I actually only needed 1 coat of paint for this project on each candlestick. In between the colors, I'm not actually washing my brush, I'm just cleaning it off on a paper towel. The next color I'm using is called Blue Spruce. It's one of my favorite shades of paint by Rethunk Junk. So I'm just wiping my brush off again. The color I'm using here is called Seaside. Now these are little sample containers of paint, so where I wouldn't normally contaminate each of my other colors in my larger size jars, these little samples have kind of been abused, so they might get a little color mixture. And then the last color I'm going to use is called Timeless Teal. Now I actually did 2 of my candlesticks in the Sea Spray. Now once I painted all my candlesticks / thread spools, I am removing the painter's tape. And the paint's beginning to dry, so I'm okay with taking the paint off. I don't like to wait till it's completely dry before I remove painter's tape. And you can see that each one has a different amount of paint covering the bottom of the spool. I wanted them to vary. And it was really helpful because these spools, like I said, had little grooves in them, and it made it really easy to keep the painter's tape even. So I think these vintage thread spools turned out so beautiful. I was going to sell them in my booth, and I still might. However, I might have to keep them around for a little bit because they look perfect on my mantle. So if you had fun, please like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification so that you won't miss out on any new videos. Thanks for watching.